Fight fans are Metro for the MMA. We got one of our favorite guests back to the platform. That means he's got another bare knuckle fight coming up. This one a huge contest. Bare knuckle Boston Fenway Park. He's taking on Trey Martin. He is Mr. Rico Disciullo. Rico, what's up? What's up? What's up?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Huge fight week coming up. Really cool event. You have the who's who of New England fighting in it at Fenway Park. Is it pretty cool to see the company BKFC do a big show like this in Boston?
Yeah, man, I'm super stoked because obviously at Fenway Park, but not only that, now it's completely legalized through the state. So now you're going to see them maybe coming back in the winter, TD Bank in Boston, the Garden, and, just other huge venues in the area because there's so many venues in Mass, that they can use, but it wasn't legalized. So a lot of the fights were up at Mohegan Sun, which is in Connecticut. And it was, it's about a 2-hour drive from here. I'm 20 minutes north of Boston. I live in Peabody. But it's crazy, man, because I was born in Cambridge, 5 minutes away from the park, from Fenway, you know what I mean? So it's wild to see after all that I've been through, we're coming back to my home, Fenway Park, in Boston. And it's the first time they've done this, It's the first time they were supposed to do one, I think, in Chicago. It just didn't fall through. So it's for the first time in history, but it's going to happen. It's going to be in my home and, legendary stadium, Fenway Park, man. So I'm stoked.
Absolutely. Last time we talked, you were getting ready to take on Elijah Harris, able to pick up another victory, staying undefeated in BKFC. You took him to deep waters, finished him in the 5th round. Looking back at it, what did you make of the performance?
Yeah, man, awesome performance. I thought, I had a really, really, really terrible training camp. A lot of people didn't realize that I tried to keep it, undercover, really. I got really, really sick. 2 weeks before the fight, I got the flu. So we were my coach was almost like, shit, dude, I don't even know if we should do this. I couldn't train for 2 weeks. My grandmother passed away right there too, who helped raise me, so it was really, really tough struggle between all that and getting sick. But she would want me to fight. So I was like, I can't bail out of this. You know what I mean? There's too big of an opportunity. And we put too much work into it. You know what I mean? And then I kind of did it for her. You know what I mean? So it was gave me some inspiration, obviously. And went out there and put on a show, man. 7 knockdowns, knockout of the night, performance of the night. You know what I mean? Completely killed it.
I really feel like you're finally starting to get some big name notoriety here in combat sports and the BKFC. Year and a half ago, you tried out this bare knuckle boxing thing. You're about to be on your 5th fight, 4-0, all finishes. When you first got into it, could you envision something like this?
Yeah, to be honest, I, once I got into it, once I started, and once I, was all right, committed to it, I'm like, man, I'm going all in. I'm not going to half-ass it. You know what I'm saying? If I was going to commit to it, you got to go all out, or else what's the point? You know what I mean? I'm too deep into this game to half-ass anything. You know what I'm saying? So I got the pedal to the metal, and I'm just going for it.
Absolutely. When you look at the card for this weekend's event in Fenway, there's so many big names on here. You got Slippery Pete on there. You get Charles Rosa, your boy, on there. Joe Lozon making his – there he is. There's Chucky Rosa right here. What's going on? How does it feel to fight with Rico again on the same card?
Oh, man, it's a dream come true. We've been friends since we were little kids, man, and to be able to perform on a stage like this in a place like this is a dream come true, man, since we were kids.
Absolutely. And now you've done the bare knuckle thing before. You've done the MMA side of things. Have you been wanting to dabble in the boxing?
Oh, definitely, man. This is something, fighting's in my DNA. I come from a long family of, fighters. My uncle Tom the Bomb Rosa, local tough man champion. My grandfather Dominic Rosa, Navy boxing champion. And, me and Rico have been boxing on the trampoline since we've been little kids. So we're just continuing what we already do.
It's that fucking Fenway. It's got to be done. You can't say no to that shit, dude. You know what I mean? We grew up together, literally beating each other up in the house at 10, 11 years old. And we both get this opportunity. People are dying to get on this card. You know what I mean? So many people were fighting to get on this card. People got scratched because the timing of it and whatnot. It's this is not only historical, but for us, I feel like this is bigger than anything because we've been fighting our whole lives together. He turned amateur, I think, just before me in Florida. I was up here in Boston, just turned amateur right after him. And the crazy part is he was down in Florida, I was up here. We both become some of the best amateurs in the country. And then we go pro, but we were never on a card together. We would never on, you know what I mean? We always cornered for each other. If we were around, we'd help each other out, fly out to, corner for each other, but we never got on a card together. And now this is going to be the first time we're fighting on the card together at home, 20 minutes from where we grew up. It's pretty wild. Like you couldn't dream this shit up if you tried. It wouldn't seem real. If you wrote this in a movie, you'd be like, yeah, that don't happen. So, but it's happening.
You know, obviously you've experienced a lot of cool things in your career, being on The Ultimate Fighter, Conor McGregor, Lambo thing, some big finishes. Do you think this is one of the coolest moments that you've experienced yet?
This is gonna be by far the most special moment because it's like full circle taking my entire team and crew and friends and family, and we went all the way around, you know, from like you said, the Ultimate Fighter to amateurs fighting in strip club parking lots for my first fight. I swear that's a true story. So, you know, to fighting in Vegas, to, you know, Oklahoma, all these places, and now, you know, me and Charles are fighting on the, you know, right in front of the home base at the most legendary stadium in all of sports. You know what I mean? Fenway Park. There's only like that Wrigley Field. There's not too many other stadiums that are that, you know, known. You know, I think it is the second oldest. I think Wrigley's got it, right? And then I think Boston, I think, is the second oldest stadium. So, you know, it's historic for sure.
You know, another interesting thing about the night, and you look at the 145 division, that's the headliner. Kai Stewart's putting his title on the line. With a big win, I mean, you think you and Mr. Kai, if he wins again, could this finally happen soon?
Yeah, if not, he's just completely ducking me at this point because, like, they all know, everybody knows, everywhere I go, they're like, how are you not fighting for this title, especially it being here in Boston and whatnot. I just think that he got a couple names and he just dove away from me right now. But sooner or later, to be honest, I don't even blame him. I wouldn't want to fight me right now. Like, I'm gonna be honest, if I got three options, I don't think I'd be the first one to pick myself to fight me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a dangerous man. You know, I got a lot of different ways to finish you and beat you up, and I'm smart. You know what I mean? I know how I can use my brain to change things up to get the win. So I think he chose, you know, a fight that I think he probably thinks is a little bit easier, and sooner or later, man, he's not going to be able to deny. Like, no one's going to be able to deny me. He's going to have to, you know, sign the contract and fight me if there's nobody left. You know, if I keep knocking these guys out, and then the top guys have already got a shot at him. You know, there's not too many people left. What are they going to just keep rematching guys? That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? I go out there and I'm finishing every person I've got in there with. All knockdowns. I think I have the record for the most knockdowns in the division in 4 fights. I have like 16 knockdowns in 4 fights, all knockouts, highlight reel knockdowns too, highlight reel finishes. You know, like they already got their money's worth with me big time with just the highlight reel videos they can use forever. You know what I'm saying? So it just makes sense.
Absolutely. So you're taking on Trey Martin. Last time out, Trey took out Nathan Rivera, which is a big win for him. Overall, what do you think of him as an opponent here?
You know, I think a lot of people are underestimating this kid. You know, he's very tough, hungry kid, very aggressive, durable. You know, he's got that fire, man. He's gonna come out. You know, he thinks he's playing spoiler, and I'm not taking anybody lightly at this point. You know what I mean? I never really have. I never will. As a pro, I've never taken anybody lightly. But it can happen. You know, you can get a little lazy in your camp, or you think that a matchup is too good for you. And, you know, you see guys I think his last fight, he was a plus 900 underdog. You know what I mean? And he dropped Nate and he got the win. Like, it was, you know, so huge win for him. And now at this point, I'll be officially at 145. I'm going to be on that, you know, that top 2 spot. If I feel like, I don't think there's really anybody else that's going to be, you know, higher up on the list of top 10 guys if I get another knockout right here. You know what I mean? So I respect the opponent. I actually like him, but you know, it's his business. Got to do what you got to do. So I'm going in there, try to get the dub, you know, get the knockouts and W by any means.
You know, through the last year and a half, you've stayed very, very active. Do you feel like that momentum, not taking too much time off, going from win to win to win, is that really helping in a positive way here?
Yeah, for sure. You know, when you can, you know, when you're blessed enough to do that, because like with this sport especially, it's very you know, you can get hurt, get cut, you know what I mean? So especially your hands and stuff. So when you can get in and out clean, no major injuries, you know, it's huge, and you go right back to it, you know what I mean? So especially, you know, for me, where, you know, the biggest thing is staying healthy and just you know, being consistent, because I got a lot going on. I just had another child. I got a 1-month-old at home, you know what I mean? I got 2 other kids, you know what I mean? So life can, you know, get in the way if you let it, and you can't let, you know, so when you have the time to put it in, you got to go. You know what I mean? For someone like me, I'm no rookie. You know what I mean? I've been around for a bit, so it's like you got to utilize the times to put the pedal to the metal when you can.
Obviously, congratulations on the addition to the family.
Thank
You've
you
been
very
a
much.
father now before, you've been fighting as a father for a while now. After having your third child, does that give you more motivation? Does that boost you every time you add one to the family?
100%, man. It's just another reminder of how much harder you got to work. You know what I mean? You got to bring in the paper to make sure that these little people eat. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, it's like I don't have any trouble getting motivated. But 100%, it really does. It gives you an extra chip on your shoulder or an extra fire under your ass. So go out there and make things happen now.
Absolutely. Well, what do you want your three kids to take away from this crazy journey you've been on?
Honestly, my son really got to see all of it because I made my pro debut for Bellator before he was born. You know what I mean? So he's seen me as a pro fighter his whole life, so he knows the grind. He actually cornered me in a fight, which I had to make him go through a whole training camp. If he wanted to corner me, I was like, all right, because I can't let you get nervous or I can't. You have to know exactly what's going on. And before I walked out for the fight, he's like, I was watching the guy. He's throwing big overhand rights. He's like, be careful. He's trying to really force the boxing. He's like, I know you're confident, but don't be too confident and cocky. But just you got this. And I'm like, it was actually really, really, really good fights. The kid came out throwing haymakers, big loopy hooks, like he said. I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable. But it was awesome. Really great. Probably one of the best experiences I've had as in pro fighting because he was in there with me. Got to pick him up. I was the main event, so it was the last night. So we kind of got to spend some time in the cage. But just the hard work. Like my daughter, she's 6. Sometimes I miss birthdays, I've missed things but they know. Just I want them to know when you want something, you're passionate about something, you can't let other people stop you. You got it. You can't everybody's gonna be like, oh, there's easier ways to do this. There's other things that would make more sense, just be easier. But you'll be down on yourself more if you give up on it. Once you stop, you're done. It's gone. It's never coming back because you only have certain things you can do, like something like fighting. I'm only going to be this age once. I'm only going to have this ability for a very short amount of time. You know what I mean? So you got to take advantage of it when you got it, because I don't want to be looking back and be like, damn, I coulda, shoulda, woulda. I did that before. I got hurt, and I'm sitting there the whole time in between an injury that I had to get surgery for twice, and I was like, God damn, am I retiring? What the hell is going on? What are we doing? And it's like, this shit just ate me up. I remember I'd be at work and I'd be like, what am I doing here? I should be in the gym. This is freaking ridiculous. I'm stacking up pallets and doing this shit. I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, all right, that's it. I'm back in the gym. I'm finding a way. I'm going to find a way. Even with the injury, it doesn't matter. And, I've been on a tear since.
Has this stage in your career, this run with BKFC, been the most fun you've had throughout your whole career in combat sports?
Without a doubt, because I've already gone through the tough times where you got and the times where I almost retired after the Ultimate Fighter and then going to the UFC and then tearing my knee right after the Ultimate Fighter and not getting that chance in the UFC, because I got the knockout of the season. I'm like, oh, they're going to scoop me up. It's just a matter of time. Give me a chance. I just got to stay ready. And then I completely tear my knee again. And I'm like, fuck, another almost year of rehab. This is really tough. And I almost stopped there. I almost retired. You know what I mean? I'm just so glad I have, because now I'm just grateful. I'm very grateful for the opportunity. I'm enjoying the process. I'm with my coach, Eddie Alvarez, moved this awesome gym 5 minutes down the road from my house. Take a look at this place. It's
wow. Look at this. Very nice.
it's got full cage, full ring, beautiful winning bags, all custom stuff, everything you need. All these machines for weightlifting and everything and training. And it's just, it's been a blessing, man. We've been working together since before the Ultimate Fighter, but now he's right here. I go 5 minutes down the street. I can ride a bike here in traffic during October when everybody's down here, because we're in Salem, Massachusetts. So people come here in October, which city and whatnot. So I'll cruise down on my bicycle. And my daughter's here playing with his daughter. So it's, I can be here all day because, they're hanging out. And my boy Kyle Bachniak, he's got his own gym that I teach at over in North Andover. So us three have been just killing it. And we have a really, really tight squad. And there's no speed bump. There's no, blemishes in my camp. There's nothing that, everything is just steady and smooth, man. Smooth sailing. And we just keep on sticking to the formula. Keep on taking our heads, dropping bodies and just on to the next, until we finally get the gold, man. That's really that's our plan. We ain't stopping until we get in that opportunity.
You know, throughout your whole career, you've always stayed true to that local area, that local Massachusetts area. You're not one of these guys who moved away. You've always really embraced being from that area and stayed true to it. You take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I'm actually, I kind of don't want to give it away. I'll give it away on the show. Like, so my son's, you know, I grew up in Peabody, right? They give me, like, his baseball team, real tight with them. I actually did, like, I threw out the first pitch for the North Shore Navigators, like local, you know, up and coming guys trying to go pro themselves. And their team gave me like the All-Star Peabody jersey, which is really cool. So I'm gonna rock it on fight night, and it works perfectly because you know this year was his last year of majors, and you know that was his All-Star gear, and it's sick because we know we're fighting at Fenway, so it's nice baseball jersey. It says Peabody. It's really cool. So, you know, stuff like that, man. I love Peabody. I as much as I'd like to move somewhere else or whatever, just because of you know maybe a better spot or something, I just can't. I can't get away from it. It's tough.
Do you think this fight this weekend, is this event one of the biggest in the history in Massachusetts of any combat sporting event?
It's got to be, right? Fenway Park. I mean, I can't see how, you know, obviously, yeah, Massachusetts for sure. I really can't. I mean, you can go back to some old school boxing stuff, but that was but I mean, this has got to be the biggest for sure. I think that, especially the way that BKFC does it and runs shit, I think people are going to be really amazed at how awesome the show is. Like, if you're, because, you know, this is the first time in Mass, right? If there's a lot of these people watching on TV or this or whatever, they haven't been to a live BKFC event. When you see the extra stuff that they do, like between the fog and like the backgrounds and everything, like, and how they run the show and how unbelievably exciting all the fights are, and it's just nonstop action. You're not waiting for commercial breaks and boy, it's just go. You know what I mean? It's the most exciting sport there is, man, and it's only getting better because it's just better and better talent every day. So it's just, I can't wait to go out there and, you know, put on a show of me and Charles, you know, from Peabody, fighting 20 minutes away from us, and we're going to have everybody there. You know what I mean? We're going to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there for us.
You know, obviously, when any fighter wants to start to set out on this, they all have aspirations of being a champion, fighting in the big organizations. Throughout your career, man, you've had the big viral knockouts. You've had the Conor McGregor-Lambo thing. You're about to have this. You keep collecting these big moments. Is that something that you appreciate more as you go on with the journey?
Yeah, for sure. You know, something different. You know, something that kind of, you know, these type of things are cool because it's history. You know what I mean? It's not just like another fight. You know, this stuff goes down in the books. You know what I mean? You're going to be like, oh, my God, the first BKFC bare knuckle fight in Massachusetts. Who was on that card? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be in the history books. You can't take that away from us. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. All right, Rico, last question for me, my friend. In a perfect world, what is the outcome August 29th when you fight in Fenway Park against Trey Martin?
In a perfect world, I go out there, get to show the fans some footwork, some agility, some clean boxing, get a big knockout, walk off, go have a beer with the boys and the family and people and whatever, come back at the end of the night to whoever's won that title in the main event, and I go in there and I make my claim and I get my opportunity to fight for the belt later this winter at TD Bank Garden in Massachusetts.
Go. Well, Rico, my friend, always a pleasure. Awesome to see you on this card, man. I can't wait to watch you fight, brother.
I appreciate it, man. It's going to be a good one. You know, I always bring the fireworks. There ain't going to be nothing boring in this one.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for us, damn. Carl Prusa. He's Mr. Rico Disciullo. You can watch him Fenway Park, August 29th, taking on Trey Martin. Fight, man. It's going to be a banger. Take care.